to repost that meme on the Mag Park account where right when the earthquakes happened, or the first earthquake happened, and he's like in a texting form that he's like, "Oh, there are no earthquakes in Toronto." I'm like, "Bruh, Hawaii is from California."
Exactly.
We are. Did y'all feel the earthquakes? By the way,
I was actually on a I was on a flight. It was funny. So I was on the flight. I mean, I got the Wi-Fi, so I'm checking. All the messages that's coming. Earthquake. I'm like, yo, babe, they got an earthquake out there. Like, might tell this pilot turn this shit around. You know what I mean? How severe it is. And then we land. I get back to the crib, and then I hear news about Kauai. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, shit.
Oh, so that was the second quake, because that was the most recent one that we had. It was a 7.1.
Yeah.
Which
wasn't centered around us, so to me, it just felt like like I was on a boat and riding the waves.
I feel like Vegas probably felt it more than we did.
Yeah, they canceled the summer league.
Oh, yeah, it was Zion's first game.
Yeah, because and he was playing RJ.
Yeah, I didn't feel it either quick, man. I was driving during the first one and I was running during the second one, and like my whole staff, like I went for a run around Mag Park. It got dark and my whole staff's like blowing up my phone, like find Mickey.
Get Lisa in them. Get Lisa in them.
I was like, no, I didn't feel nothing. I guess, I don't know, used to it, man.
But back to Kauai, being in LA, I think there's gonna be some more. LA's been garbage for 6 years, right? Lakers. They haven't made the playoffs.
LA,
Lakers, I mean, Clippers had a good run last year.
Yeah, the last couple of years, actually.
Okay, but I'm thinking about the Lakers when I say LA. The
Lakers. Okay.
Because my fondest memory of having a good time in the club while the Lakers were winning was the playoffs when they had Kobe and Gasol. They just picked up Gasol. So around that
2010.
Yeah. So we would be out in the clubs, and it was fun because every time the Lakers would win, you'd go out and the clubs would be popping because everyone wants to celebrate and spend money.
Yeah.
There'd be a lot of hot girls because there was you had your handful of industry nights, and the hot girls would definitely go to the industry night. So you see girls that you hooked up with, you probably don't want to see again. And then you saw girls that you've been trying to hook up with, and you just whatever happens in the night happens. But
you sound like you got some stories to tell there.
Well, no. I mean, LA's a whole different animal. Like hooking up with a girl, trying to hook up with a girl in a different city is a lot easier than in LA.
Of course.
Especially in Canada. People, guys, DJs and friends want to come to LA because they got the hot girls, but I'm like, bro, like your chances are slim to none unless you got money.
Exactly. I mean, the same girl pulling up and like, I don't want to like corner a girl and what she drives. But let's just say the hoopty is also the same one that says she only drinks 1942 inside the club.
Hey man, listen. So we can't judge her by the car she drives if she got expensive taste in alcohol.
Hey, look, everybody working their way up.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Hey, that's fine.
Sometimes an athlete helps.
Someone could drive a Lambo says I like Tito's.
True.
How many times have you seen that shit?
I've seen it.
So have you guys? Well, okay. So it makes me think. Have you guys ever DJ'd? Gone to a club to DJ, and you see a girl that you've hooked up with, and she's trying to get into the DJ booth because that's where she will have a seat. She'll have free alcohol. So have you guys ever had that experience? And what's the proper etiquette behind that? Because you probably, maybe you hooked up and you don't want to see her again, or you guys are drunk and you're a little ashamed of what you did or how you handled it. So, maybe you just don't want to associate yourself, or maybe you kind of like her and you don't want to, hang out too much with her in this atmosphere. You'd rather take her to dinner. I
mean, in the DJ booth, it's your sacred space, right? So depending on how they handle themselves and manage themselves, they also represent you. So
right.
You're at your job.
Yeah.
And they want you to have a good time. And a girl probably looks a lot better than some of my homies standing there. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
So we all kind of know our space. I mean, if a girl pulls up that I've hooked up with, I don't know. I think it just depends on the history there, and if there's interest, and maybe you try to work that out and see if there's space for her, as long as she behaves.
Yeah, I think it depends on the girl. I've been in scenarios where, all right, okay, I'm DJing and I hooked up with a girl and she shows, and the girl is cool. She she knows her role. Let me say that, and she's just in the background. She just, like you said, she just want to find a comfortable place to post up. Enjoy the set, maybe have a drink or two, which is fine. That's cool. You can stay there. You're not in the way. But then I had the girls that were in the way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, come on, man. You bumping
my elbow,
man. Like,
yeah,
you know what
yeah.
I mean? So it's just like, yo. And then those are the ones you got to explain. Listen, I got to work. You know, you can't really be in the booth with me. You got to do that whole sad story and pretend like you care. You really don't care. I'm just trying to tell you, get the fuck up out the booth so I can do my job. So, you know, I think it just depends on the girl, who the girl is. And like Miki was saying, what your relationship is with that girl.
Well, and it depends on the size of the booth.
That's
honestly.
yeah.
That's key. You know, shout out to all the nightclubs that even have a mini section in the booth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when you able to cater and be hospitable to your guests, because sometimes you ain't even got room for that.
Yeah.
And you got to kind of tell your friends like, yo, go set up shop by the bar. I don't know. You know what I mean? Or you might know somebody, a VIP that they can go chill at, but even that's sometimes uncomfortable. So I think you invite, you know, people over depending on the situation. Because it's funny, I was just thinking about it. The last couple gigs ago, I did a Prohibition on Riverside, right? Shout out to Jason, and we had a great time. And throughout the night, that booth is not very big. There's a ledge for some drinks, but the booth is dope.
Compact.
You know what I mean? Great equipment, you know, ideal situation. And he's working the lights right next to you, and you know, a girl come up and you're like, all right, cool, pretty girl. Like I'm single, so just to keep the air clear, I ain't putting myself on blast. But you know, a pretty girl sitting up, and then you're kind of talking and you're doing that cutesy like, ha ha ha, like glad you're having a good time. And like I'm like doing my thing, I'm like talking to Jason, and all of a sudden like I look away because shout out to my boys Mason and Josh and Jonathan. They got a table right next to me, and I'm like looking at them, and then all I hear is like a backspin, and I was like, I looked at Jason like, bro, like, are you having that good of a time? Because I'm having fun, but like you touching records,
you feeling it?
Like damn,
let me
like,
just take this to another level.
What you think I was going to transition? and I looked at him, and I looked back. I'm like, did you touch the CDJ just now? Yeah. And we both looked and like, nah, bro. Like, I would never do that. And I was like, oh, this girl gotta go.
Yeah,
like, she gotta get out
and shit.
I don't care how pretty she is. Yeah, so you know, there's mannerisms, man.
I was on tour with LMFAO, and we were in one city, and I had met this girl. It was like 2012. I had met this girl kind of on Twitter, and we became cool. And she knew I was coming out to her city because she was cool with some of the party rock guys. So we became cool, and I said, you know, we got to see. I said, you know, why don't you come? Like, let's go have dinner. So, you know, I'm making LMFAO money. I got a little bit of money to throw around. The hotel we stayed at was really nice, but there was nothing really around it to go eat. But there was a Nobu attached to it. Like, fuck it. Like, I'm like we didn't spend any money on that tour because everything was catered. Breakfast, lunch, dinner was catered. And we got per diem.
Oh, you see, you dropping money on shorty.
Ballin'.
So, well, you know what? If you're going to a Nobu, you know, so I'm like, you know, I don't spend money like, you know, fuck it, let's have a good time. I never been to Nobu. I didn't know what I was getting into.
Understand the message that you sending. Continue.
You were like, hey, don't. If it says MP, keep scrolling.
I don't follow. What's going on?
I'm saying you're taking a chick to Nobu. You understand the message you're sending to the chick,
right? And let me make it clear that I didn't know much about Nobu and what like. No, you know what? I remember. I knew what I was getting myself into. Okay, because I know I'm going in going into the city and I'm gonna leave. So we're gonna have a good time. I'm not saying I'm gonna give her the time of her life, but you know, I'm gonna set it up right. So the bill easily was over 100 because you know Nobu was ridiculous.
That's actually pretty cheap.
That's cheap for that,
right?
But two people, well, you don't drink. That's what it is. Yeah.
Also,
yeah.
Wait, do you know what MP means?
No, what is it?
Okay,
that's why he didn't follow it.
Yeah.
We'll explain.
MP is market price.
Oh, right.
So that means it'll fluctuate depending on the season.
Yeah.
Sure.
Hence,
right.
Anything that says MP.
I thought it was like a code. No, I thought it was a code for girls or something like.
Oh no! That's what I was saying.
Is that a new one?
If you're taking her there, you know what the message you're sending to a chick.
Right. I'm gonna start taking you to nicer places, Joe.
Okay. So we have the dinner, and I know it's gonna be a good dinner, and then I eventually we're gonna hook up. So we hooked up, and I'm thinking, cool, off to the next city, which was a couple hours away.
Right.
So then she hits me up. I'm thinking we're done. We had a great time, but I'm moving on. So we head out to the next city, 2 hours away, and I'm thinking that's it. It's a wrap with her.
Yeah.
Go to the next show. She hits up one of my friends in the crew, And I guess she wanted to come out to the show, but she didn't want to ask me for a ticket.
Right.
So my friend said, yo, I got her a ticket. She's going to be at the show. And I'm like,
what the fuck?
I don't know if he knew I hooked up with her or not. But
I mean,
was he
probably
trying to hook up with her?
you.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. If I had a hotel that night, perfect. That would have been great. But after that show, we had the after party, and then we would we'd get back on the bus and go. So if I really wanted to, I probably could have hooked up with her on the bus, because I've never done that, but that's happened within the crew. Okay, some of the guys in the crew aren't strangers to that.
Yeah, of course.
So, but I wasn't thinking that.
You fit in, brother.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I'm thinking there's no time, because after the show we're out. So then she comes out to the booth. She comes out to the show and she's in the booth, and I'm like, fuck, man, like I kind of don't want to talk to her, because I'm like, I've moved past it, like, but I'm not gonna be an asshole. So I was like cordial and I was nicer, but I think she felt like I'm not trying to hang out with you like that. Even at the show, she wanted to meet up before, and I was like, yeah, it's crazy you're here. Damn.
She felt
so
the vibe.
So you made it out. So you
Genuine
made the drive.
surprise.
Yeah.
Man,
so happy to see you.
Yeah, so now I can't bring you back, but after the show, we're gonna be at this club. Come for the after party. So
And you invited her to the after party?
I mean,
You felt
I
obligated?
don't remember if I invited her or not, but she knew what was going on, and I wasn't an asshole enough to make her just stand in the crowd. You know what I mean? So she came. She was naturally just made her way to the booth. From what I remember, maybe I did. I don't remember, but she was in the booth with us.
Was she annoying,
You're a nice
though?
guy.
Like, or was she kind of like...
No,
just being
she wasn't
standard?
annoying at all. I just
Ah.
wasn't trying to, like, for lack of better words, babysit and like feel like I have to give you attention when I'm just like trying to, and I'm not even trying to holler at girls at that party, because I know we're not doing anything that night. We're going on to the next city. But end of the day, she was there, and I just put on my best face.
I mean,
lesson learned.
Once you've gotten intimate with a girl, I think you're a nice. I feel like I'm a nice guy. I don't know, but I'd feel bad if I had told them to kick rocks.
Yeah, no, see, and I didn't want to dog her like that.
Plus, there's always
Is it considered dogging her, though? Because you didn't initially invite her.
Right.
So you shouldn't have felt obligated to quote unquote babysit her if you wasn't the one that invited her. So it was kind of like, yo, I didn't invite you here.
And I'm sure I'd have that argument in my back pocket if I really wanted to.
If she came at you sideways.
But I you know what? I knew I was going to get a booking back in that city, or I had a feeling I was going to create that opportunity.
Oh, so you had to play nice.
So I think I was playing nice because I wanted to see her again.
Ah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty sure that was in
So you were trying to
play as
premeditate something.
Yeah.
Got you.
Just to switch gears a little bit, but same topic. Have you ever hooked up with a girl and then threw her your homie's way?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Especially like, let me tell you something, man. Like, I ain't
It
trying
ain't
to
no
throw
fun
my
if the
party rock
homies can't
crew
have
under the
nothing.
bus, but when you're on tour,
Right.
it gets serious with like you have to claim what you're going after, and you have to let it be known. Hey, yo, I'm going after this girl, because there's only so many hot girls you're gonna get in one spot, in one situation when you travel, and then you're gonna probably keep in touch with them because you're gonna set it up for the next time you're back in that city. So whatever you do it, and if you're over it, like I had a homie ask me like, yo, like, is it cool if I talk to her? I'm like, yeah, go for it. I don't care. And there was no feelings behind it.
Of course, because that conversation is there.
Yeah. But the only problem is she was like more interested in being in a relationship after that. I'm like, I'm not gonna be in a relationship with you. You just got with the homie. Like,
you just hooked up with the homie.
Yeah, like that, like maybe later on in life when I'm mature enough and I can get over it. but
not 24 hours later.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, no.
I'm good.
Yeah, see, I said I don't know what kind of man I'm gonna be in a few years, so I don't. Maybe I'm bigger than if she's worth it. If she's worth it. Question: If Holly Berry, if Holly Berry, has a lot of miles on her. If she's okay, let me be nice.
Wow.
If Holly Berry's hooked up with a lot of dudes in the industry, but end of the day, that's motherfucking Holly Berry, and she wants to date you and marry you. Do you do that if you feel the same way back, or do you say no? You've been through a lot of the guys I know. You say no. You've hooked up with a lot of guys I know, and it would just feel weird if I'm ever in these social gatherings with these dudes, which is what I normally am.
Okay, so I understand what you're saying. I don't think it has to do with the mileage, because I don't think that's like an opening question ever.
Yeah.
Like on someone that like I'm trying to be with, right? Like in a serious relationship. I think it has more to do with the who she hooked up with. Like,
Gotcha.
if it's someone I know and it's someone who I'm close with, someone who I'm going to see even on like kind of a quarterly basis, you know, like that's enough of a reminder to me, like where I think I remember somebody asking this question kind of, and the thought is to me, there's so many different women in the world, bro. Like so many.
Sure.
Like, why go after the same girl that your homie hooked up
I mean,
with?
I don't know. Cause I guess it depends. If the homie was in a relationship with Shorty, then I'm like, nah, like that. I feel like that'll be more awkward than if they just hooked up a couple of times. And I'm like, but if you're saying she just hooked up a couple of times and she's quote unquote Mrs. Right, I don't give a fuck about that. Okay, that's your past. What they got to do with me? I'm sure I smashed a gang of girls, you know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want you to judge me for that.
We're going to talk after this episode. I'm playing.
Run through this list of so-called girls that you smashed.
Hey, that's how. I mean, that's just how I look at it.
This is what it is in the industry, and this is what I learned through high school. We've all been through high school. This is what I learned playing baseball in college. You have a small group of people that you connect with, okay? And there's interest. A girl's gonna have an interest in you. Whatever happens after that, nothing happens, or you guys move forward. Slowly, she's gonna get interest in the guy that you're cool with. Maybe not your boy. Like that happened in baseball, that happened in college, and it happens all the time in the industry. We all live in this bubble, and we only want to hook up with who we're comfortable with and who we know. Unfortunately, it's someone that the homie hooked up with, or some guys that we know hooked up with.
Yeah,
like a bottle girl's probably not gonna hook up with anybody outside the industry.
Yeah,
like just a regular dude on. No, I mean, it depends. But I'm saying just your average Joe who paid $40 GA to get into the club.
Yeah, but
she probably won't because she doesn't know him. But if she's hosting a client who's popping bottles, she can get to know him because they're at a table together. And or a DJ or a.
I mean, it's a little unfair to speak on their situation, but I get what you're saying. But I wouldn't consider. I think I think a client or whoever is quote unquote popping the bottles is more of a regular Joe than he is industry.
But he knows industry people. He's kind of like he's like an honorable mention industry guy.
I think only 20%. This is obviously shot in the dark. 20% of the people that pop bottles are regulars. I think it's 80% or more.
Okay, and I'm thinking about the regulars.
Yeah,
not the randoms.
And that's fair.
Yeah.
I think, and I agree with you that you're more than likely, because with exception to the DJ, for the most part, people that are working at nightclubs are pretty good looking people, right?
Sure.
In Vegas, it's pretty open that they're hiring the best looking people that combine actual looks and personality and whatever else, right? And you could actually get fired if you don't look the part anymore.
Really can.
Because of whatever bylaws or laws.
I've seen girls get turned down to get in clubs because they don't look good.
Yeah, I mean, and that's unfortunately the dark part of the industry side. Mm-hmm. And so I get it. You're more than likely you are to end up with someone in the industry. And so if you are not an asshole, like I think most of us are, you're gonna get to know a lot of people and be friends with them. And yeah, you're gonna run into situations. I for sure have talked to somebody who I felt like I was like, oh yeah, like this is a dope girl, whatever. And you get to know them and you're like, oh, there might be something there. And then you discover, I've discovered that some of the homies have like, maybe not plural, but like a homie has been with her or something like that. And that's something that I would take up with my homie first to see what the seriousness of that was. And then from there, I would respect whatever is really honestly like kind of like where they're at. Because I'm not about to lose a friendship or, jeopardize a friendship over hooking up. It's not worth it.
No, I agree. Like you said, if you're aware of the situation prior to you hooking up, then, you just had that conversation with the homie. Look, what was the situation like with you and old girl?
Yeah.
And then now the ball is in your court and you can make your choice, your decision. You want to hook up with and continue with the chick. But if you're not aware about it before you smash and then you find out, you're like, oh, I didn't know.
Hey, you gotta be careful these days.
Yeah,
you got that city girl mentality running around.
Man,
it's a tough time.
So glad I don't have a daughter in 2019.
Man. Oh my God.
Luckily for us, sir, you know, we're in relationships, so we ain't got nothing to worry about, man. I'm good. I'm off the market. I'm not doing that. That shit is tiring, bro. I don't know how you do it, man.
Congratulations again.
Oh man,
you're engaged.
That's right. That's right.
Shout
Appreciate
out to DJ Rell.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Shout
sir.
out to Jen Rose.
Yes, of course.
Yep.
If you guys want, is it on your IG?
What?
Your engagement?
It is. It is. Yeah.
I
did the cliche thing.
You did.
You know? But yeah.
You didn't get the J's crease. That's what I was trying to.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to point out. The man had a form. I think he practiced it. Dipped the toe.
I did though. You know what I mean? I winged it, but I already knew. I'm like,
you went with the stiff foot.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I'm like,
your toes probably curled up.
You know what I'm saying? She had J's on too, so we just we were able to finesse it and still get the shot in.
There you go.
It was Gucci. So she was happy. We happy.
How do you live in that moment, that engagement moment, and be concerned about your shoes?
I really wasn't, you know, right? To be honest with you, it wasn't.
That's got to be like, oh my God, we're about to get. Wait, watch the shoes. Watch the shoes.
Like
we're about to get married.
It wasn't really that much of a thought in my head at that moment, because I even think I remember, like, after it all happened, I looked down at my shoe and go, we good. You know what I mean? Like, so I mean, in that exact moment, I wasn't really concerned. I think I just remembered to just tip, you know, put the toe in there, and it's supposed to just creasing my foot back or whatever. But I think I just do that naturally whenever, you know, if I was to take a knee.
Call it captor.
You know what I'm saying? To do, you know, that's just my form. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it wasn't a thought process in my head to be like, all right, let me make sure I don't scuff the crease the J's while I get down on my knee. I was just like, let's just get this over with. Yeah. I'm hungry.
It's supernatural.
Yeah,
it worked out.
Exactly.
Congratulations.
Yep. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
We're waiting for the wedding.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
We got to travel a little bit. I heard.
Yeah, that's right. Hopefully Joe shows up.
I might be booked that day. I'll let you know.
Nigga, I'm gonna let you know early. You ain't got no excuse. I give a fuck.
I'm just saying, bro. If you don't book it on the day I'm working, we got no problem.
I'm telling you right now, you ain't booked right now. I'm gonna tell you the date this weekend. I'm guaranteeing you ain't booked that
I'm
day.
penciled in actually in Boston on that day.
Wow.
So.
Yeah, all right. Nigga, we'll show up at your gig in Boston and burn that bitch down. And I'm like, who let all these black people
drag me to the wedding?
Yup. Let's go.
You're making it work.
Mm-hmm.
You got to book him at the wedding.
Yeah, you might have
I know, all right. I got to put you in the wedding for you to show up.
Yeah,
that's what's happening.
That's what it is.
Mm-hmm. How much you gonna charge to spend a wedding?
All right. Well, moving forward, congratulations again.
Thank you, sir.
I think we should get into kind of a hot topic aside from the whole. We had a nice, very healthy conversation with agency talk, and before that,
you mean you had a healthy conversation?
I
with
had a
yourself
healthy
about
vent about agency talk.
My man went
off. You know, very informative for our listeners. And prior to that was the do's and don'ts of networking. I think another hot topic is gig swapping. I want to get your guys' thoughts on that. You know, if DJs reach out to you to spin in LA, do you reach out to other DJs to spin where they are? Miki, what are your thoughts? You have a residency in LA. You do Playhouse once a month on Saturdays, and you're well connected in the nightlife industry. So you got, you know, people might see you as someone that you can plug them in. You know, you can help a brother out, get them into these spots. So what's your take on it?
I think I'm fortunate enough to like where I'm not gigging so much that people don't look at me for that opportunity. I've been in that seat though before, so I can speak on those experiences. I think presently though, I've been fortunate enough with my residencies where I don't think anybody, you know, hits me to do something now. Specifically with Playhouse, right? Like Playhouse is probably one of the toughest rooms in the city, honestly, when it comes to it's all new shit.
Is it like tough as in they're stubborn? Do they only want to hear specific songs or what?
I think it's a little bit of that. I think it also, there's the elements that you can't control, right? Like consistency or like openers and things like that can also play a factor, right? Because sometimes a lot of new openers, like they like to play new music and
they only know how to play.
Well, not to cut you off, but I really want to make that another topic for a different podcast. We can really, you guys had a really good story about that situation, which would be great for another.
Yeah, so we'll save that conversation for later with the opener. But as far as gig swapping goes, 2012, I was actually the entertainment director at Infusion Lounge in Hollywood that is no longer around. But we had a nice run. As a crew, where we could honestly, we just showed up, had a great time. we had a pretty decent budget, I would say, for LA at the time. And when I got there, we were phasing out of a contract with an agency and moving more towards booking independently and just trying to get really good music, like DJ talent in there. And yeah, of course, like I controlled the gigs literally Thursday through Saturday every week, for the most part, Fridays and Saturdays. And you know, there'd be a ton of DJs that would reach out and be like, hey, like, I'll book you at my spot in whatever city. Can you get me booked at yours? And you know, there's a lot of like unspoken, you know, rules or unspoken things that you're in agreement of. And I think the only time it would get difficult would be if the caliber or quality of DJ that you are swapping with. Because I'll say confidently, like, I understand different rooms. I understand different cities, especially at that time when it was like my full-time situation. Like, I'd be on top of things and make sure I do a good job of it. And sometimes the guys in control aren't really gigging that much, or that's their only spot that they gig at, and they only understand that room, and they don't travel a lot more. Versus LA, we get guys all the time that we were fortunate enough to get exposed to, right? All the different DJs that travel in, and you can hear how they play, and it was more of a universal sound. And so I think it's gig swapping is unspoken but beneficial to the resume. And I think as long as the quality and caliber of the DJ that you're quote unquote trading locations with, then I think it's a safe relationship development. But also the money has to make sense for both parties. You know what I mean? If a DJ was trying to get into LA today and you told them how much we get paid, or different people get paid in different scenarios, especially somebody that's not coming in with some sort of a following or clientele or whatever, bro, like you're gonna be paying more for your travel and accommodation, because ain't nobody putting you up. Sorry, like,
don't work like that.
You got to work out a multiple gig situation, and even then, like, depending on where you stay, unless you're staying with the homie, like, you know, it's like it's tricky now. And so I think it still exists. I would think so, but I think it's at a bigger level.
Well, I think in regards to LA, it's like, fuck, man, you got to know your hip hop so well that, like, because I had a friend reach out and say, y'all don't be around LA. Can you have anything? Like, well, if I did have anything, can you play this kind of hip hop? And I threw some names at him. He's like, no, I'm good. I can't. Because, you know, because in LA, you have to play a specific type of hip hop set. If you don't, like, you will get cursed out and you will get pulled off. And is it worth it, you know, for you to go through that? Who even knows if you're going to get the money at the end of the day? And in the day, they don't give a shit. I helped out a friend. The stars aligned, and I magically somehow, some way got him a booking with the homie Dirty Draws. Shout out to him. He didn't have to do this, but he created the opportunity to pay this guy to spin, and he wasn't even the headliner. Someone else, another LA headliner, went on after him. So his slot was like 11:30, 12:30. And this guy did a great job. He did a phenomenal job, knew how to read the room, knew what to play. And in the day, nobody cared.
Right.
The VIP hosts, the bookers, you know, because there's like four promoters or four promoters that put their 2 cents in on who the next DJ is. Like, and not to say that guy didn't do a good job. I thought he did a great job. But just in LA, nobody cares unless you're like DJ Drama coming in with someone, or Mr. Mauricio coming out from Miami to do a Supreme Team situation. Like, because he probably has his connects out there. He's probably got rappers in LA, and the rapper's going to come out and fuck with him.
I haven't even seen that name or Drama in a minute now. Because I think what's really amazing to see, specifically in LA, is like you have this homegrown, like, I wouldn't even call it a clique, but you have the guys that have just been the standard and are honestly, they're great DJs in the rooms. The Visions, the Bads, the Dre Sinatras, the Mike Dangers, Dirty Draws, Orator. Like, guys have just done, you know, they've been in this scene before it was like highlighted the way it is today, right? And I think, I don't know, man. It's a time where I think it makes more sense outside of LA, because LA is very hip hop centric. And I think outside of LA, it probably does make a little more sense because you're a little more open format, you know.
But I think it makes sense in all major cities because you can say the same thing about New York. You say the same thing about Miami. They're booking mostly local cats than they are bringing cats from. Because like you said, I'm like, why would I want to fly you out, put you up? I could book a local cat who could probably read the crowd a little bit better than what you can because you haven't been in the
Most
city.
openers
on
are
what you
better
call it
DJs,
exactly. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's just in that scenario is in any major city, they're probably like, we're good on, getting guys out. Like you said, it's probably outside of these major cities, those small cities. I'm sure have you done Reno yet? You haven't been in Reno.
It's been a while.
Yeah. But I'm saying Reno, they roll out the red carpet for DJs outside that are coming in, right?
Yeah.
Like they do the whole thing, the page there, they take care of you cats. It's a smaller city, but
Atlantic City.
Yeah.
Even Vegas. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they'll bring these cats out, but it's just like, it like you said, it only makes sense if you're gonna do it outside of these major cities.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you're trying to be like, I want to go there because I know that they roll the red carpet out for the DJs and the overall setup that they give out to these DJs is dope. And I just want to be able to experience that, even though you're light years ahead of that city music wise.
Yeah.
But it's kind of disadvantage what you're working.
Well, I love the idea of DJs getting together, saying, you know what, this is our city. This is like screw these agencies who are shoving their guys from other cities into our clubs. We have the relationship with the owners of the clubs and the promoters. Why don't we get together and create this thing where we handle the bookings, we handle who gets booked, and we say, okay, you want to bring your guys to our city or you want to come spin our city? What do you have in your city? Because we're trying to get out of our city. We're trying to do more.
Yeah.
It's not just about you. And I think because the way the agencies have put a stronghold on the game and what they've been doing, a lot of the local guys in these smaller cities or even bigger cities are like, this we got this. We're gonna take it from here.
Yeah.
And I think it's a wonderful thing. The only thing is, you're basically doing it for the gram, because chances are if you're doing a gig swap, unless you have the booker saying, I want that guy here every few months or every month or quarterly or whatever it is, no one's really gonna care. You know what I mean? Unless, in regards to how talented you are, you can always show up and show out, and then, but chances are you're just doing it just to say, I'm in LA, I'm in this city, I'm in that city, and people, it looks great, it looks incredible, it looks incredible for Instagram. So I again, I love the idea of all these guys getting together, doing their thing. I just think when you go about it, try and make it more than just a swap. Try and make it more beneficial for everybody.
Yeah, it's got to be an overall experience. You know what I mean?
I mean, it also comes down to like position, right? Like if, let's say 2012, Danger had somebody that he was looking to swap with, right? And I had the power at the time to be able to put somebody in that position, right? And it's not necessarily Danger making the call, but like collaboratively, I'm gonna look out for my boy, whatever, like we can set that up, right? I think it's touchy, right? Like, because you don't want to like take advantage because you're putting your name out there too.
You ain't trying to burn that bridge.
You ain't trying to burn no bridges, right? I think if it's the right scenario, it's definitely there and worth it. It's a concept that works. But I think, and this could be a completely different podcast episode when I say this, but I think this derives from DJing being an individual sport versus a team sport, right? More DJs have the mentality, and I say this off of observation and experience over the years, that even when you're a part of an agency or you're part of this quote unquote bigger picture, like it's still ultimately about your individual brand that lives under this tree, right? And you want your branch to go further. And that's because of your livelihood. That's because of your goals, whatever it may be, right? Not everybody sees your same ambition and goals. And I think if DJs are able to put themselves in sort of like a unified way, right? In Beyond the Music Retreat, there's tons of people who talked about just being able to generate a benefits program or a health care program. And if you just put together 100 guys that gave X amount of money a month, you could probably go and do the legwork for something like that.
Yeah.
But you can't, like, it's all good to say it, but who's actually doing
it? Exactly. Who's
and so
in
it's all
motion?
good for us to be like, yo, like, I want to put some DJs on, right? Or, yo, can you get me on the MikiDz show? I'll go book you at my spot. Like, hey, bro, like, chill. Like, do you have that? Is that in your bag?
Yeah.
Because even I wouldn't perform on the MikiDz show, right, anymore,
neither.
right? I wouldn't put that because it's not genuine to what I feel is it's the standard.
Yeah.
And so are you willing to risk that? Like, I would never, like, recommend a DJ to a nightclub that I wasn't sure of.
Absolutely, because then you're jeopardizing your relationship with whoever you booked in there. So you don't want to do that. And I've seen it going that way. I've seen guys, like you were saying earlier, because they never been in that city and they only know wherever they're from, that small, whether it's the nightclub or that city, they only know that. So when they travel to another city to do some shit, then they're like, oh man, they can't execute properly. So now the person that booked them is like, oh fuck, like, you know what I mean? Like, I've got to put my name on the line to get you out here, because I wanted to go to that city, but now I fucked myself up in my own hometown while even going out there. So like, you guys, overall, like you said, it's got to make sense for both parts.
Right. And there's hella politics that
oh my God
might be unspoken of, right?
Yeah. Oh my
like
God.
Somebody might have a problem with somebody, and then if you if I have a contact in a city, but you have a relationship with somebody else in that city, more than likely they don't want you to play at both venues.
Yeah.
They don't want you to hit the lick with the Friday, Saturday, Sunday gig.
Yeah.
They want you to be loyal to bring people to one gig.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think at the end of the day, right, like, what's the point of a venue dishing out headliner money if you're not going to push it like a headliner might, or be an exclusive, or bring the clientele? Like, again, this is a business.
You're saying, like, if you have multiple gigs throughout that week and you got to spread it out?
Yeah. Like,
well, typically, if you get, let's say if I were to go to Chicago, and let's say I were to do Fremont, and I did it for $1,500, there's no way I can spend anywhere else in Chicago. But if I were to do 3 gigs in Chicago, I'm probably getting anywhere from, let's say, $300 to $500. That's fine. That's not headliner money, and that works out as opposed to 1 gig for $1,500. That makes sense.
Do they put that in your, like, in a contract for you guys? Like, you saying, like, if I book this, you can't.
It's just an agreement. You just know you can't spend anywhere else unless it's one of their properties and they're cool with it.
Yeah.
Like, I might do that and then the next morning do the brunch.
Got you.
But I see that also goes back to that the conversation we had very shortly in the last episode, where, work less, make more.
Yeah.
And what's better for your brand, or what is it that you want for your brand, right?
Yeah.
So I know there's a lot of guys who will take the lower money because they'll get X amount of gigs out of it on a trip, versus
one gig.
Let's just do one. Let's blow it out the water.
Yeah.
Invite the city, right? And, like, really push it.
Yeah.
Versus, I feel like if you're doing 3 gigs in one city, you're not going to really push it as hard as you would.
No, you're right. But I think
well, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think it depends on if those 3 gigs are 3 different types of gigs.
That's you could have, like, a Latin party.
You could have something like that. Right. So then in that case, it's more about, like, the overall experience, being like, yo, I'll take the lower money, I'll take the lower pay, and do these 3 different gigs, and being like, yo, I'll put myself in this lane, I'll put myself in a position to continue to book in this lane as well as this lane. As opposed to if it's three gigs and they all the same, pretty much all the same shit, then that don't even make fucking sense. Just do one and get your money on it.
Well, here's the thing: some cities, some clubs don't have the luxury, the money to give you that $1,500 check or whatever big amount it is. So you got, so you say, all right, I like going to this city. I want to grow in the city. Whatever I want. End of the day, if you want to make it look like you had a busy weekend, and you want to create that appearance that you had a busy weekend, and you were booked. Illusion in a positive way, not like in a deceptive way.
Right.
But, you're going to do those 3 gigs and people will see, whether they're bookers or DJs or whoever, they will see that you're busy, and it's good for your Instagram engagement, which could be your goal. But if it's not within the club's budget to give you that $1,500 check, then you're going to spread it out and say, all right, well, let's make a weekend of this.
Yeah.
And let's, then maybe I'll take a day off to network or something.
Yeah.
Because there might be that one club or two clubs in that city that pays that much, but you're kind of figuring out a way to get to that club.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, it does. I think I would just turn the gig down.
Yeah.
You saying all three and just do one?
Yeah. Or just wait.
Or just wait.
Until the time is right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know
I mean,
what I mean?
like you said, it all depends on if the situation
it also obviously like
fitting
it
for you.
always comes down with all three different DJs.
Yeah.
Like 3 different goals.
I mean, I just say do research, man, because, I personally, I've been on both ends of the scenario where people have asked me and I've been able to put them in a situation to spin. And then I personally won't ask someone unless I've already been in that city. Right. So, like, when we go back to the conversation when we were talking about networking and doing all that stuff, like you're saying, like, all right, I'm going to spend some money investing in myself and go to the city, check out these spots. Yeah. Then if I know the DJ or if I have a relationship with the DJ or something like that, then we can swap gigs or, ask about that as opposed to being like, yo, I know you spin at this spot in this city. Can we swap gigs? Even though I never either been in that spot or been in that city, like, I'm not about to set myself up for failure for that. You know what I mean? Like, I get, you can say, oh, yeah, it's top 40. Your top 40 is different from this city's top 40. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think you just need to do your research. Even if you get in a day or two before your gig and just go out and peep the spot or whatever the scenario says. I think that's where the gig swapping thing fucks a lot of cats up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they don't.
Not knowing the city?
They not knowing the city, not knowing, the overall industry in that specific city as far as music-wise, politics go, all that stuff. So it kind of backfires on them because they think that, oh, I'm the man in my city. I can go to that city and do the same thing.
Do the same thing.
You know what I mean?
Like, I got 2 more things to say, and I have nothing else to say about this topic, but
Thank you.
a good example, I think a good example is, like, I'll talk to DJ Los out here, and I'll talk to Orator. And when I say what they do today, or we'll just talk about hip-hop in LA, both of them telling me the same thing on 2 different occasions. Every day, I just search up and down the blogs looking for new hip-hop shit to break.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's, to me, that's what you have to do to get through a DJ set in LA. You have to be ahead of the curve.
Yeah,
I know when James Harden comes into LA, he goes wherever Orator is, or they book Orator wherever they think James Harden's going. I don't know exactly how it works, but I know that's that's James Harden's guy. It's Orator. Yeah. And Orator tells me he's always on James Harden's Snap and stories, checking to see what he's playing, what he's dancing to. Yeah. And then he researches it. He probably doesn't know the name of it, but he's going to figure out what that song is, or he'll ask him, just so when James Harden comes in, he'll be prepared. And a lot of hip hop, when you're bringing a hip hop artist into town, you're not just gonna book a regular DJ.
Yeah.
You're like, like clubs will book Ace from New York or from the East Coast. They'll book him because they know Drake's gonna be in town. Like they know like how to set it up if Drake is in the city or if Travis Scott's in the city.
Yeah.
If I book this guy, he'll do his thing, but I just might get a Travis Scott to show up, and I just might get a Travis Scott to get on the mic.
Yeah.
So, but to end it, my advice to DJs is become the dude in your city. Become that guy to where you have control of the bookings. You have a great relationship with the owners and the promoters, and you say, look, you're busy doing this. Let me handle the DJs. And then you take care of the homies around town, and then everyone eventually moves up in the system. Confidence is growing within each other, and then you say, all right, now it's time. Now I got the guys out of town. I think that can kill this. This is what they do at in their respective locations. Let me bring them in, and if it's cool with you, I'm swapping with them. I'm gonna go do my thing out there.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's no problem. Like, shout out to all the homies in Chicago. Yeah. Like, they got it locked up out there. Navik, Gordo, a few other guys I can't think of off the top. But
that's how you secure future gigs, by the way.
I know. They're just
shout out to y'all.
That's funny for sure. But no, they're good dudes. But they figured it out.
Yeah.
And now they get out and they go to different cities because they figured out the game probably before anyone else that I've seen.
Let me ask you this, piggyback off of what you said. If you're saying your advice is for DJs to be the man in their city, do you think that it's possible to be the quote unquote man in the city, in these major cities like a LA, like a New York, like a Miami, because the market is so open and there's so many DJs. You guys just named off 6 DJs that are probably considered some of the top DJs in LA. You know what I'm saying? So it's
and
just
that's
like,
just like in kind of a, I wouldn't say a bubble, right? But like it's in the major spots that we all look as iconic hip hop nights, right? We're not even touching the surface of a Charisma, a Amen, a Just Incredible, a Sour Milk.
more of the radio
right?
side
Guys who like really do break records on radio, and then there's the guys that break radios in the club. I mean, records in the club. There's all these different elements, and there's the guys that have the like publicized the rap radars and the rap caviar playlists and things like that. There's so many different ways to be influential, you know.
Yeah.
And I think, sorry to cut you off.
No.
I think at the end of the day, you just have to create a platform, and I don't think you could get caught up, especially in a major city. Like if you had the goal to be the guy in LA, like
good luck.
Good luck. You know, there's a lot of
motherfuckers to go
legwork.
through.
Yeah, and I think too many people have the mentality of trying to be the man versus like just becoming the man in their world and allowing people into the world.
Yeah.
Right? Creating a platform. It's so funny, and not to sidetrack too much, but I was thinking about putting out mixes for the Mag Park, right? And inviting friends to do mixes, and I do a mix here and there. And I just popped my name into the podcast and forgot that I used to have a Podomatic or like a podcast thing. And I'm like listening to my mixes from like 2012, 2013. And I'm shouting out my gigs, and I'm shouting out, you know, people that I've been involved with at gigs, or friends that do remixes, and all those things go a long way. It's even easier now where like legit, if we talked about somebody on the podcast and we had that clip, and you know, shout out to Abner who gets all of our clips done on time.
Spiffy Films
at Spiffy Films. See? Now he could chop that up, tag me, and I'm gonna repost that because it's easy like that.
10%.
If we
drop that name,
if we shout out whoever and it's on our podcast, our platform, right? Whether 5 people listen to it or 1 million people listen to it, at the end of the day, we could tag the homies we talk about, and it's easy. Boom, add to story.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So create a platform and utilize it, make the most of it, and you know, flourish. Episode 3, I think, is a wrap.
We should tell our listeners to you know, please repost, share with your friends.
Yeah.
You use that share option on Spotify. I don't know if iTunes has that option. Screenshot it.
They should. It's on podcast app actually. There's no iTunes. iTunes is dead. R.I.P.
Right. That's right. Okay, so so whatever you gotta do, you know, please share. We greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Screenshot you listen to it.
And let us hear the feedback, man. Let us know what y'all thinking.
Yeah, and that's another.
I mean?
I'm glad you brought that up too, because we want to hear your feedback. We want to hear your 2 cents, whether you fully disagree or agree, especially the fully disagree, because we want to at some point come back to some of these topics and bring light to them again, because you have something completely different to say about it that we feel
want your perspective
could you know, add to helping DJs grow and being informative. So
we're just here to have a conversation.
Absolutely. No one's right or wrong. You know, we all have our opinions.
Right. We just know each other really well, so we can control any sort of arguments.
Yeah.
So for y'all, you know, internet thugs, we accept you.
Yeah.
We welcome all.
We want
smoke.
all the smoke.
But we just want to have a conversation with fellow DJs, and cover all the different topics. If you guys have a topic, you know, bring it up. I think in the future, we discussed it. I think it'd be dope to have like a Q&A episode.
Yeah.
And we just address a bunch of different questions that you may be wondering about DJ City, DJing in general, or LA, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a different beast. And we appreciate y'all listening. So please share.
Absolutely. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes, sir.
MikiDz Show.
Podcast.
My bad.
MikiDz Podcast. In closing.